Hello everyone, I welcome you all to ATM Creations. In this video, I'm going to tell you what exactly do I do to prepare the board for dot mandala painting. Like what exactly do I do to apply the base paint? What paint do I use to apply the base color? And how do I apply base color? How am I going to dry the base color? And how do I find the center in the round board? These are the things we are going to look at in this video. So watch the complete video and get benefited. So let's say this is a 10-inch MDF board. Now I want to prepare this board for dot mandala painting. Let me tell you, there are two sides obviously, no? So how do I decide which side do I base paint with? The fundamental that I go with is very simple. I look at both the sides. Whichever side seems to be pretty cleaner, I'll leave that side and I'll take the other side and base paint it here. Because I'm going to base paint in black, so even if there are anything dirty here, when I base paint it, it's not going to be seen. So this is the fundamental with which I decide which side to base paint with. The next thing that I do is I take a cotton cloth and then wipe the surface off, because if at all there is any dust, you will remove it this way. See, there had been some dust, so the dust is removed. Do it twice. Now this side of the board is fully ready for base painting. This is not my tabletop surface, this is a photography backdrop that I have put on the table. So when I base paint this board, I don't want the drops of black paint to spoil this photography backdrop. So I'm going to keep this newspaper at the bottom so that even if there is a couple of drops spill over, backdrop is still safe. This is flat brush size 12. You can buy this brush from any brand, that's fine. Size 12 brush will be easier for you to finish base painting this board. So I keep doing a lot of projects, so I have a little bigger bowl where I have poured some black paint here. The next step that I do is to dip this bristle portion into water and then just wipe it out with a dry cotton cloth. Do not dip the entire bristle portion into the paint, dip maybe half of it, like how I have done here. Now start base painting. I normally base paint in one direction so that after drying it looks smooth. So board is now fully base painted. This is not gesso or any other primer. This is a normal Fevicryl acrylic black color. And what I have done is to always base paint, I personally prefer a matte finish. So let's say I take 100 ml of paint for base painting. 90 ml will be the actual black color paint and 10 ml will be water. So once I mix the paint in that proportion, I'll give a good mix and then I do the base painting like how I did before. Now there are a lot of people who have asked me, don't you paint on the sides? Now the board that I purchased is a laser cut board, so the sides are already black in color, so I don't have to specially black paint it. Now how do I dry it? It takes at least 1 hour in room temperature for a base paint to dry automatically. However, if you are in a hurry to do dot mandala, there is a shortcut that I personally follow. Here is my hair dryer. So I do a blow dry here and then the surface is already ready for dot mandala painting. At times, if you are really in a hurry, then yes, you can definitely follow this shortcut. However, nothing can beat the quality of base paint when it dries on its own. And these days, what I have started doing is, I have started planning out my projects. So let's say I have 5 projects to be done on a 10-inch MDF board. I take all the 5 MDF boards, base paint them in one go and leave them to dry for an hour. So in such a case, Maybe for the first project I have to wait for an hour to start painting. From the second onwards it's going to be instantaneous. So whenever you're free, keep your MDF boards base painted so that you don't have to follow the shortcut method. Your dot mandala's quality is going to improve much more if you allow the board to dry on its own. These are some of the process that I personally followed to base paint a board and prepare it for dot painting. Now let's see how do I figure out the center for any circular board. To figure out the center, the first step is to measure the diameter of this board. It's a 10-inch board, 1 inch is 2.5 centimeters. So here, when I am measuring the diameter, it is 25 centimeters. So half of the diameter is the radius. So step 2, what I do is, I'll measure the compass for the radius. So this is 12.5 centimeters. Next is I'll carefully lift the compass because I shouldn't change the radius that I have measured. And I'll keep the edge of this pencil towards the edge of the MDF board and keep the pointed edge here. And then I'll start rotating the compass in 4 directions. So this is left, right, top and bottom. So let me rotate it to my right. So this exceeds a little bit. So I'll make slight adjustments, okay? And now you do that with top and bottom. So when I do that, I found the center. This is the center. Once the center is found, take your pencil and make sure you will mark it. So the center is marked. There is another method which I have seen people following, having a paper cut exactly in this round board size and then folding it thrice, cutting the corner of the folded paper and then keeping it on the board, then figuring out the center. I'm not here to say that is right or wrong or easy shortcut method, but thing is, for an 8-inch, 10, 12, you definitely can have such paper. But what if you want to paint in a 36-inch board? You cannot have a circular paper of 36 inches and then fold them into multiple times. Cutting the corner, finding the center is going to be very, very difficult. So I thought I'll follow this method which I just demonstrated to all of you. This is a sustainable method for any size circular board. I'm sure the process that I follow for base painting the board and figuring out the center was useful to you. Please do let me know in the comments on what other doubts you have regarding the dot mandala so that I can make a video on it and it will be useful for you again. Thank you for watching this video.